Hi, welcome back to Outdoor Gear and Skills. Today I wanted to finally do a video about the new backpack that I got on Amazon. I believe the company is named Tolaccea, but I will put a link to it in the description. But I had a goal this year to design my own backpack because I felt like I wasn't finding a backpack that kind of met all my needs, and I'll talk about what some of those are. But I actually run two backpacks. One, which this has replaced or become, is my TSA compliant backpack. That means no knives, no lighters, there's nothing sharp in here, nothing that'd get flagged at TSA, so I can take it to fly, which I do quite a bit. Another backpack that I have is my non-compliant. That's the one that I have around here when I go down to the Gulf of America or driving around road trips, or I go away like in the area here in Houston where I've got some stuff. So I might have channel locks and lighter and different things like that. So I was using my 511 bag, which I loved. That's actually become my non-compliant bag now. But there were a couple of things about it. Number one, what I call my tech pocket. It was too small to have my battery charger, my cables, earphones, different things like that. This has a good size one. Now this is quite a bit bigger bag, so this will not fit under the seat on an airplane. It does have to go up top like a roller bag was, but I'm okay with that because usually all I'm grabbing is my water bottle and maybe some earbuds, or the United Airlines will give the blue headphones, or they're not really headphones, but they're plug-ins that I will use. So just right off the bat, all I have to do is really grab that and my water bottle out. So I do like that has a deep water bottle pocket. This is just a Body Armor sports bottle I carry with me because it's easy to fill. If I lose it, it's like $3 at Walmart. And this I just pulled out of the fridge, and so it's got condensation all over. But that's 1 liter, so that's pretty big. I do kind of wish that this was more of like a mesh bag, but it does have kind of the drawstring to pull it tight. But as you can see, that's a fairly big water bottle that seats in there well. That's not going to pop out. So I really like that. To kind of give you some context, this is a 40-liter bag, so it is pretty big. Looking it up on the Amazon description, they say that it's 4.3 pounds. It feels pretty good. I stand here like this, no problems. So the way I used this bag, I'll kind of get into that real quickly and then I'll show you the features on it. I did roughly a 3-week road trip recently where we drove from Houston to Monterey, California. And then from there, my daughter and her husband drove to Utah. My wife and I flew to Utah. And then we were, from there, we were in Utah. And then we went up to Island Park, Idaho for a family reunion. And then we drove back down to Utah. And then my daughter and her husband drove home. My wife and I flew home. So I put this through using it both as a bag for a road trip, but also used it on a couple of flights. So when it came to the road trip, my daughter and I packed what we would need for the travel days in this bag, so we were not having to get into our bigger duffel bags and things like that we had packed in the vehicle. Per usual, I probably took more stuff than I needed because that's what I tend to do. So that's one of my flaws that I've got to work, is kind of paring things down a little bit. But we were going to be in different different states, different weather, 3 weeks, all that kind of thing. So we loaded this up for just taking it into the hotel, grabbing our stuff, and then just, getting to California. And then as I was flying home, I loaded it up pretty well. So when I got home to Houston, flying from Utah, I loaded this thing up pretty heavily. I had my laptop, I had my journal, I had my bullet journal. I just had a bunch of stuff in here. This thing was over 26 pounds. So that's kind of heavy to carry on an extended period. I was okay. Probably the farthest I walked was through the Salt Lake City airport when I flew from California to Utah, and then when I flew from Utah to home. So it wasn't terrible, but I packed it down pretty heavy. If I'm looking at, doing just a trip for a few days to fly up and see a buddy, or when my wife and I take off, we've got, nothing set, but we want to go, take off and go to like Venice, Italy for a couple of days, that kind of thing. I think this backpack is going to be fantastic for that. So I want to start out kind of with the main section. One thing I love about this backpack is that it unzips and it unfolds like a suitcase. So that's awesome. Now it came with these 3 bags, and 2 of them, are just kind of open. This one is a cosmetic bag. I had a ton of crap in here. I had the razors, the deodorant, a full tube of toothpaste, body wash, all that kind of stuff. I had medication that I was on for a sinus infection. I had my different cologne. I just had a bunch of crap in here. So this was chocked pretty full. So this is designed that these 3 bags will sit in here, and you can just pack in those bags, close it up, and it fits really well. I tried to pack like that. I didn't really like it, honestly. I felt like I couldn't pack very well to kind of go that route, but I really like these bags. So I didn't use one of the bags while I was on the trip, but I used the other 2. So I had this loaded up with all my toiletries, stuff like that. And then in here, I had a bunch of miscellaneous stuff in here, and the bags work really well. Like they seem like they're really strong, all of that. So I really like that. Probably looking at when I go to do a trip for 2, 3, maybe 4 days. I don't know that I'm going to use this cosmetic bag. I'll probably just throw a couple of things in there. But the nice thing is, on the inside, it has these pockets here. So I've got a first aid kit. I've got a little drawing tablet here that I have not used in years that I need to do. And then I've got things like alcoholic wipes, One Wipe Charlie's, that kind of thing. And then down here is stickers, business cards, and I think I threw my Harry's razor refill in there. So anyway, that's really good. Now, one of the things I really like about this backpack is on the back here is, so it's a 40-liter bag, a 7-liter, and I got some junk in there, but this is set to be waterproof. If you need to throw in like a swimsuit or wet clothes or a loofah, something, something like that that's wet, or just, dirty clothes for one night or something like that, it's nice. I'm always carrying different trash bags and crap like that to keep my shoes or my dirty clothes separate, because it just bothers me thinking like that and all the stuff that we step in and mixing our clothes and all that. But I really like that pocket and the fact that it just opens all the way up. That's great. I also like the fact that there are loops on here, so I can put carabiners for different things. If I've got a couple of things right on there, if I want to clip a hat on it, that kind of thing. So it's awesome. Now, I said that this opens up like a suitcase, which is great. It also opens up from the top. So as I get this zipped back up, this will open from the top right here. And then On the inside, it's not really built to get to it when you open it like a suitcase, but on the inside here, it's got my laptop. That'll fit my laptop and my journal and everything in there. And so that's easy to get to. I love backpacks that have a separate section like that, so that I'm not trying to pull out my laptop or journal and then put it back in and hitting all the things that are in my bag. So I really like that function. And then they have kind of a dual thing on the back where right here you can, this is made to unclip these shoulder straps and be able to stick them inside. Let me pop one of these off here. If you want to pop that off and shove it inside here, and then you can snap it off, and it just makes it, if you need to check the bag, then you're not having these straps get in the way. So that's a pretty cool feature. It also makes it nice. I threw my journal just right there, so it was easy to get to. And these buckles are quite nice. It just has the plastic's kind of made on a spring, and it just clips on. It's really nice. So I like that. This is what I'm using for my tech pocket, what I call right here. And these are my charging cables and all this crap that I have in here. Just a bunch of little things I throw in there. I really like that that's big enough and it's accessible enough where I'm not having to unzip the bag to get into it. So I love the tech pocket. On the back is like sunglasses. So I've got my flashlight in there right now, but it easily carries my med glasses and the case and everything right there. So that's really good. I like how it's got these buckles so I can kind of cinch it down a little bit. And then it's also got handles right here, and it's made to go on a suitcase. My intention, with this kind of bag is that I may not be even just taking a roller bag suitcase at all. Ideally, I would prefer the strap to go horizontally so I could just drop it on a suitcase like this, but it's quite big. I understand why they did that. But it's also got two handles right here that are really strong and a handle right there that's really strong. So for me, this was a great bag. This was a great trip to try this out because I was both on the road for several days, traveling, but then also flying. So like I said, weighted down with, stuff with a couple of journals, a book, laptop. I had this thing over 26 pounds. It's not ideal, but I throw out the laptop and I just go down to like one journal and maybe my bullet journal. I'm dropping quite a bit of weight on this. Very comfortable straps, very comfortable back sections. So far this has been great. I wouldn't say probably that it's waterproof, but it is water resistant. And the zippers are strong, and it's also made to where you can put a suitcase lock on the zippers, the two zippers that get into your main pouch. So that's really good. There's also a hidden pocket right here where I threw like my mountain bike little composition logbook in there, and I've got a few backup pens and things like that. But if you are throwing your passport or something like there, that's a fairly hidden pocket. Overall, this has been a great backpack. I really love it. I'm very happy with this. I'm going to do some more testing. I'm hoping to take a weekend trip to New Jersey to visit some friends, and so that'll be a good test of taking nothing but this and just taking my clothes in here. With this size, I could take an extra pair of shoes and use this bag or whatever, but still take clothes to get me through a few days. So I think that's really good. We found out when we went to Italy in the end of May and into June, I thought that United Airlines would only fly into Rome or Milan, They actually fly into Venice and Bari and all kinds of places all over the country. So my wife and I decided not to go to Venice on our recent trip and to spend our time in Florence and Bologna, with the idea that we could go take a trip to fly just to Venice, spend a couple days and fly home. If we get to the point where we can do that this year, this will be the backpack that I will take. This should be a lot easier as we're on water taxis or things like that, trying to get to a hotel and all that kind of thing, you know, where we didn't have our suitcases that we're carrying 2 weeks worth of clothes and all that kind of thing. So really, I've really been impressed with this so far. Again, it is bigger, but for me, as long as I plan with my headphones or whatever it's going to be for the plane and my water bottle, I can easily take this. Even at 26 pounds, I can easily lift this up and throw it in the overhead compartment. So I really like that. I'd love to hear what you travel with. Do you prefer to, you know, carry, if you're flying, just carry a roller bag so that you're not having anything on your body? You know, what you do, if you have a pack, if you've ever looked at this, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. As always, thanks for watching Outdoor Gear and Skills, and we'll see you out there.